What's going on, people? I would normally do this as a video that I would edit, put together and edit, but I've just been swamped with work, with family things. It's been really hard making any time. So I'm going to do this as a bit of a live stream. We'll just unbox the figure now and we'll talk about it. We'll look at it. We'll check the articulation, all the good stuff, see if it's damaged out of the box. I know Isaac Wong posted photos. His upper torso was having a little bit of an issue. So we'll just take a look at it, see what it's all about. And, hopefully I don't have a defect. Hopefully I don't have a dud. So here's the figure. Let me remove that. Here's the figure. Here's the back. So we'll take a look at it. We'll get it unboxed. See what he's all about. Got my box cutters. All right. Let's get him out of the box. Let's see what he's like. So we come with the usual stand. Throw that on the floor. We got this to show you that it's authentic. We have a separate tray for the hands. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of extra hands for the figure. Turn it around, see if we can get much of it in focus. It's going to be hard showing it off. You can see you've got the semi-gripping, the kind of open, relaxed. Same thing. You got the trigger finger. And looks like another set of trigger fingers. We'll have to open it up and see what that's all about. Giving us multiple. Now I'm out of focus. Giving us multiple hands, which they've been known to do. They've done it. Let's get a look at him. Here he is. So what comes in? So we got the figure, obviously. And we got the gun. We got the pistol. We have the scarf. We have the binoculars. And then we got 1, 2, 3 extra sets of heads to go with the head sculpt. So we get 4 heads with it. Not bad. Not bad. It's better to have more heads than useless accessories that we're just gonna toss aside and never look at again. So let's get these heads out, because I think that's everybody wants some good head, right? So here he is with the goggles. It's a good sculpt, I think. The paint, to my eye, looks very good. It's obviously not perfect, but Medicom is not known for having the best paint apps, the best paint colors, I should say, when it comes to their human likenesses. So this one's pretty good. No noticeable seam. You can see the back. You get the... Let's try to get that in focus. My camera, I'm telling you, it's working overtime today. There we go. You get the strap on the back. There you go. To the inside. What is going on with my camera? Well, we already saw him, so let's get him out of the way. We'll try to take a look at another head. There's another head. Jeez, come on. Get in focus. What is going on here? Hold on. Let me turn off my camera. bring it back up. What is the problem here, people? I can't get up because I got the figures on my lap. Jeez, creepers. Anyway, he's got the screaming pose. You can see his teeth. His teeth are visible. The goggles are up. The strap on the back is pretty much the same. So again, it's just a screaming face. Like the camera wants to go in focus, but there's something about it. It's just not working. Let's turn this off. Better. There you go. There you go, Kaiju Daddy. Ingenuity. Genius. So it's not bad. It's not bad. So that's the second head. Let's get that third head. This one looks good. I like this one. This might be the one that I use. He looks pretty good. Sometimes we get wonky eyes. I don't have any wonky eyes on mine. No bleeding, no issues, at least with the head sculpts. So the 3 extra head sculpts are pretty solid. Here's that scarf for the neck piece. It's pretty good. It's not really wide. It's just got a little bit of a solid piece that goes around. It is pliable. It is flexible. So you can kind of move it around, but you can't shape it. I don't know if you can see. It is a bit see-through. You see it right there. It's not fully thick. You can see going through. So that's cool. That's nice. We got the pistol. Pistol's all right. Getting a lot of feedback on my light. Try to change that light. You know, I never have issues trying to highlight shit on my other streams, and then all of a sudden I want to do a live stream unboxing, and I'm having issues with the focus. Right? Of course. So the gun's all right. No clip to remove. No moving pieces. It's all right. Then we've got the other gun. It sits on his back. This one's cool. And on the other side as well. So the strap is very loose. It's not a solid piece. The clip does not remove from the gun. It's all right. It's okay. So I will say that it is different. Here's my muff. Here's the muff one. It is different. And the muff one on the other side, he's got that Joker card fastened on. Whoops. That. So It's got that Joker card on the back. I'm about to throw this computer away, giving me so much trouble. You can make out the card there. The MAFEX doesn't have it, so there's that. All right, let me move that. Let me get the figure out. We're all here to watch the figure, to see the figure. I don't have the original release of this figure. This is back when MAFEX quality control was even worse than it is today. So I never picked it up. So I can't tell you if the accessories are exactly the same, if they're different. I really couldn't tell you. All right, so the figure outside, this is pliable. There's good weathering on the bottom. Really nice weathering. This was a big selling point for me. You know, you get a bit of a wash and some nice paint apps on the bottom. So just get a look at the back of the figure. We'll turn it around. Get a look at the front. Again, there's some nice paint apps on the boots. You get a little bit of weathering. All right. You know, sometimes when you get a MAFEX, the ankle joint is out of place. So you can kind of see right there. You are getting. Why is it not focusing? This is ridiculous. So you do get some good weathering on the boots, which is nice. The Muff Toys did not include this. So we'll take another look at him. He's got the holster for his gun. So it's good. It's good. All right, let's take a look at the head. It's a good sculpt. I mean, you know, for what it is, it's pretty good. Let's get rid of this plastic. Feels like Ian with stuff down his pants. All right, so the head, if you have them like this, going down, you get that much range. Going up, you get that much range. Again, going down. Side, pretty good range. Going the other way, again, pretty good range. It's nice. Turning, no obstacles at all, no hindrance. So that's good. The arms, all right. So if we're going to look at it, the coat is a separate piece, and you can see it's designed so that the butterfly and the arm are part of the coat. You could remove the coat, but then you're stuck with that. So if you want to customize it, keep that in mind. So let's move the arm. We can get 360, which is good. There's a slight drop down, very slight. So arms going I'm going out and up. You're getting maybe like 100, 110 degrees, maybe. The other side, they're about the same. Arms going, let's look at it from the back. It's probably better. With the butterfly. Ah, of course. All right. You can see it moving in and out, which is good. Moving it forward, just straight on. You're going to be able to get that range. You can see. And if you want to move them backwards, it's not the best range. That's what you get. All right, so at the elbow, right there, it's double jointed. Right there. There is no bicep swivel. Nothing. But you can rotate it, obviously, at the shoulder. All right. So nothing on the gauntlets move. Nothing at all. All right, let's check out the ab crunch. Let's check out the ab crunch. So the ab crunch is kind of silly because if you try to bend them, your coat's going to go like that. That's as much as you're going to get, but then the coat sticks way out. So I guess having them like that is not really going to be something most people want when they're displaying. So turning the upper torso, you get range. The bottom torso at the hip, it's good. Is the logo protruding? No. No. It is not. It does not protrude. It's flush. I guess it rises very slight if you put your fingernail on it and you move it. I guess you can feel a little bit of a rise, a little bit. But it's very, very minimal. Okay. So side to side, let's see what we get. We get to here. Get to here. Again, the coat doesn't really allow for good posing. At least aesthetically, it's not really good when you move the waist, you know, and you're trying to do your ab crunch. It just sticks way out, way out. Now, this is an issue because let's talk about this. Let's kind of pivot. They are, at least they said, they're going to do the Matrix. And if they're going to do a Matrix, you're going to have a Neo, you cannot have something so stiff. It's got to be wired. It's got to be cloth. I think they have to do that. With this one, I think I understand, you know, they were going for a particular look and they wanted to have the weathering on it, and you can't really do that with the cloth. I get it. But it would have been nice maybe to have swappable and maybe a piece here that you could kind of move, almost like what Tamashii Nations does with their figures, right? Like if you're talking about you know, the Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Demon Slayer stuff. Let me move my thing. These, see how that's designed? And you can move them, right? You can move it out. It's great. See that? It's great. That, I think, is how they should have approached this Batman coat. I think this, if they had done this, I think we'd be talking about a very different experience for a lot of people if they were if they're posing. So props to SH Figuarts for doing that. Negative props for Medicom for not doing that. So this coat, although it looks good, if you're not going to have him kind of standing almost upright, it's going to be a little bit silly to look at. I'm going to be honest. So why on the new reissue did they not make a wired jacket? A lost opportunity. Again, I think if they did wired, they'd have to do cloth. And if they did cloth, they wouldn't be able to do that. And it's a nice touch. It's a nice touch. But I think using the technology that this employs, even if it's swappable, because, I mean, you can remove this. I'm not going to do it, but you can remove this. And if you got a second one, like, did we really? I just said how much I liked it, but did we really need 4 heads? Did we? Did we really need 4 heads? If you gave us 2 heads, 3 heads, and then another jacket, another coat that allowed for kind of, you know, movability where you could move it in and down, and, you know, you'd have it kind of right here, right? You'd have the joint right there. I think that would have been better. I would have liked that better. I don't have any noticeable issues on my paint, in case anybody's asked that. I don't see anything. Again, you have the weathering here, but there's like no weathering at all on the pants. They're kind of clean. You got weathering on the boots, but there's no weathering on the pants at all. So that would have been a nice touch, but of course, you know, it's extra paint, and, you know, that adds to the price. All right, so these float, both of them. They float. You can move them around. Check out the legs. There's a little bit of a drop down. There we go. That's a little bit better. Much better drop down on that side. So we got the drop down. We'll extend his leg out. You get about 90 degrees. It's about 90 degrees. It's not too bad. They can, I mean, they can do it on cloth, but it raises the price. I mean, honestly, I mean, you can do anything on cloth, but in terms of making it affordable, you can't, I think. You know, it just, it increases, like for example, right? Like we're talking about cell shaded Spider-Man, right? So just to do the cell shading will increase the costs by 30 to 40%. I mean, that's a lot more money than just doing a regular paint job. So you have to factor that in, and now you have a higher price point and everything. And, you know, they try to stick to a price point, right? So you have to put out certain number of units. They have to adhere to this price point. You got to put things in, take things out. What works to that? So when you deal with a company that has a certain price point and they're sticking to it, it's a little bit harder than if you were to say, you know, all right, well, here's the muff, and they're going to do it. I mean, you know, there's a really nice weathering wash to this that you can put on the material, but you know, they can kind of dictate the pricing. Whereas Medicom, I think, just like most companies, they'll stick to a price and they'll say, you know, again, if we're putting it out with this many units, we need this price point. And what does that entail? It entails these particular types of accessories, each accessory costing this much, so on and so forth. I hear you. I'd rarely rather have a cloth like a gambit sort of thing, but wasn't meant to be. Anyway, so sticking it out, you can push it. You can push it to there, but comfortably, you're really looking at 90 degrees. Now, the issue now is going to be going backwards. So because of the coat, you're not really going to get beyond that. That's really where you're going to be. You know, it is, as I say, it is what it is. So it's, I mean, it's double jointed. It's a double jointed knee, but you're not getting the full range. I mean, you know, just single joint, double joint, but it's only going to there because of the way it's designed. No swivel on the upper part of the shin guard. For articulation on the foot going down, it goes to there. Here it is flush, it goes to there, and then going up, it goes to there. So for a rocker's good. It's got a good rocker. Rocker's actually really good. It's an excellent rocker. So, you know, you can get really good range. The only issue is being able to pot the legs to the point where, you know, you would employ that rocker. But like those are really good right there. So articulation wise, I would probably give this the arms are good. There's some hindrance because of the coat. You don't get much ab crunch. You can't get anything going back because of the coat. It just, you know, it's in the way. I'd probably give articulation maybe a 7. Maybe a 7. You can do things, but you can't do them. You can't do them that much. Head sculpt likenesses, I'd probably give them a 9. I think the head sculpts are really good, honestly. And the fact that we get 4 of them is awesome. Paint apps, paint details on mine. I'd probably give it maybe a 9, 8.5, 9. It's pretty good. Yeah. Accessories, it's a little bit hard. He didn't come with too much. He's got the 2 guns. He's got an extra head neck scarf. He comes with 5 extra hands. And like I said, he's got 4 heads. That's pretty good. I would have, like I said, I would have liked another cape. I would have liked another coat. I think another coat would have gone really well and allowed for better articulation. Whether that was wired or just employing this and just, you know, giving him a second one that's attached here that you can kind of move around. I think that would have been a banger. That would have been a home run. So yeah, how does he stack up? All right, so here's a Stormtrooper. Here's a MAFEX Stormtrooper. Here is the Batman. Let's get them back to back. This is the Luke Stormtrooper. So just so you know, so he's quite bigger. So there's that one. Let me see, who else do I have hanging around here? All right, here's the new all black Daredevil, they're about the same size. Here he is with the muff. And surprisingly, I mean, they kind of scale somewhat well. That's not bad. That's not that bad. So, yeah. Getting a look at the heads. I'd give the muff a 10 or 9.5. Now, the goggles on the muff are always falling off, and they fell off, and I can't really find them right now. So that's why they're not on. Touche. Touche. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you had a company that's looking at this and thinking about doing it, I mean, that would be perfect for like a certain company that does KOs, right? We all know that company. If they did something with a cape that was better for articulation, I think it would be pretty nice. You know, I'm not a poser, so I can't really do too many poses, but you know. Now, I will say, not having an unmasked head, maybe that's a miss. You know, Superman did pull off his cowl, I believe, in that scene. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I watched the movie, but I thought his cowl was taken off when Superman arrived, and before he punched a hole in his chest. But maybe just an unmasked sculpt would have been nice. Yeah. So the Crow, I'm gonna try to get it from a seller here. I didn't get it from the Caustic Plastic. I didn't get it when it went up. I know it sold out, which is it's crazy. It sold out real fast. I think it looks great. It's really not it's not an IP that I'm really into, so it's not a pressing need for me. I know a lot of people love it, but again, like it's not really a super high on my list. I've got other things that I gotta acquire. What is up with my camera? What? Is this in focus? Is this in focus? That's in focus. Put that on him. All right, so let's get the head off. Let's see how easy that is. All right. So let's look at the different neck scarfs. This one's a little bit more crunched. This is the one that came on him. Looks a little bit more messy. This one looks, this is the one that would cover his face, his mouth, right here. Wait a second. I was gonna say I'm missing something. I didn't do the binoculars. He comes with binoculars. I was like, wait a second. So here's his binoculars. Those, yeah, that's in focus. That's good. These are good. So he comes with those binoculars. Let's put the Screaming sculpt on. Let's put that neck piece back on. Easy to put on, easy to move. What did they do in the promo pics? They had some kind of silly, pose like that or something. I don't know. It looks all right. I mean, if you're gonna have him shooting the gun, I didn't pick up the Joker. I still haven't picked up the Joker. The Joker employs a similar kind of thing where the gown on the Joker prohibits articulation even more than this. So I held off on that Joker. I'm going to get it if it goes on clearance, if it goes on sale. I'm going to wait. It's actually already gone on sale in one store. I saw it go down, but it was only down by like $10 or something. I'm going to wait and hopefully see it marked down even more. Oh, another thing. I didn't show it. Usually I do show it. The bottom of the feet. Medicom is kind of known for doing that as an extra touch. So those are weathered. Those are really nice. There you go. There you go, Kaiju. Those are really nice. Some good detail. Good paint apps. It's very good. Anybody have any questions I can answer? Again, I just really look at the figure to take a look at how he is. What's the articulation? That's what my reviews are all about. It's not about, you know, pushing the boundaries of posability. It's not about, you know, finding the perfect pose. That's not what I do. Did I get Dr. Fate? No, I had it. I was going to get it, but ultimately, I'm going to wait for it to go down in price. I know it's going to go down in price. I know it. Because the Age of Ultron figures are already on sale. The Cyclops and the Weapon X. So the fact that they're already on sale in stores here already, I think that line is probably dead. I don't think they're going to proceed with new characters, new figures. I think based on the sales, if you've already discounted it, and stores never discount stuff in store here, they just don't, especially so close to the release date. I think it's pretty good to assume that that line is dead. All right, so let's go back up. I'll say hi to everybody who's here. So Stu Baca is here as always, man. Appreciate you being here. Jedi Ben, let's see this thing. Which thing are we talking about? The Muff. Amateur Awa 24/7. Thanks for being here, man. So I just answered the Dr. Fate question. I didn't get it. Hustles, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. Alpha Red, appreciate you being here. Alan the Antichrist. So I already answered this one. I don't have that original. Figurecraft is here. What's going on? Vicious Soldier, thank you for being here. John, thanks for being here, man. So yeah, is it protruding? A little bit. What up, Rowdy? A Naruto run? No. I don't think it can do that. It's kind of way out, right? It's way out. So in theory, you can paint the chest. In theory, you could, but I don't think so. The Matrix figures will need soft good coats. Absolutely. I think anything but that is a absolute miss. It's an L. I think you need it. You watched The Matrix today. Awesome. It's been a while since I watched it. Yeah, why in the new reissue did they not make the Wyatt jacket? It's just a really lost opportunity. You know. So we discussed this. They do have it. Mezco also is more expensive than these in terms of releases now, you know. So it would add a substantial price to the figure, probably talking like $10 more per figure, which I think they probably said it's not worth it. So let's keep going. Yeah, it's another live stream. Like I said it at the beginning. I've just been so busy this month. You know, I got figures for people. Let's see, what do I have? What do I have at my feet? I showed this off the other day. This is the Toby. This is for somebody. I've been holding it for months and months and months. I gotta get that out. You know, I'm just picking stuff up. I got a couple of these Chaos Batmans that I gotta get out. I do have that Ken. I've got a bunch of the Kens, the Storm Arena. So I just want to remind people, let me show something. I want to remind people that the next live stream will probably be Wednesday night. Probably. I'm just so busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't think I have any time. Honestly, I don't think I have any time to do it. So I think we're going to do the next live stream Wednesday night Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk about that Scorched Xenomorph, which, you know, people are scrambling for right now. I'm hoping I can get my hands on one. I thought I pre-ordered it. I didn't. I thought I did, but I didn't. Then Maz Toys. I told you guys that Maz Toys was going hard in 1/12. So Maz Toys, a lot of Chinese companies will use other names because of potential lawsuits. So Maz Toys also goes by Saturn Toys and also goes by Venus Toys. So these two figures from the Patterson Batman movie, the Batman, they're from Venus Toys, which is Maz Toys. And they're going to be coming out 1/12, and they look great. I was a little bit skeptical because, you know, we see a lot of times we see figures and they look great, but you're like, well, who's this company? What are they? What's the track record? What's it like in hand? But Venus Toys is Maz Toys, so these are gonna be great. So that Bruce Wayne comes. There's two versions. There's a deluxe, which is the one with the helmet, and then there's a regular where it doesn't come with the helmet. So there's different options on that. But the Riddler one, he looks really good. So again, Wednesday night we'll be doing the next live stream. We'll talk about, you know, that Xenomorph. We'll talk about Maz Toys, Venus Toys. We'll do the giveaway for that Storm Arena Ken for channel members. You have until that day to become a channel member if you want a spot on the wheel. Again, there's two types. There's two tiers of channel membership. There is Ichiban, which is 99 cents a month, and that gets you one spot. And there's also Kaijulicious, which is $4.99 a month, and that will give you 6 spots. So the Kaijulicious one is really the one that I'm going to be trying to hook people up for that last figure you see right there, which is that new that Figure Arts, that Dragon Ball. So I had it in hand yesterday for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. It's awesome. My son's got a bunch of Dragon Ball figures. I'm not a Dragon Ball collector, but this guy in hand, he feels so much better than the ones that my son has. I get my son, you know, I try to get him like the good ones, but this one, like visually, it's awesome. Aesthetically, it's awesome. The joints are really tight. He's really nice. So we'll talk about that figure more. Stuff I heard about that figure when I was kind of playing with it that I'll convey, and I'll let people know Wednesday night. So let's keep going through. Figure Fight Club is here. What up, Bobby? Keep going. Answered these. Stu is tired. Colossus, what's going on? Colossus. So yeah, like figures of Colossus has asked me to grab some stuff. And Colossus won some extra spots in the last live stream. He correctly guessed the new solicitations for MAFEX, so he's getting 5 extra spots on the wheel for being a genius. So good for him. Goblin Kid, the unmasking and cod attached to the rifle is from a scene in Batman vs. Superman included with the first Nightmare Batman. This figure, okay, it's from the Zack Snyder one where he isn't unmasked. Again, like I haven't watched these movies in such a long time. I don't really know the difference, honestly. So it's probably scandalous and blasphemy that I don't know, but you know, I mean, I know the movie, I know the story. I don't really remember the specifics, but Goblin Kid, thank you for clarifying that. When is it? So like I said, it's going to be Wednesday night. Wednesday night. Is Robin coming out this month? No. I know people have been hearing that the Venom is coming out this month. I still haven't heard any confirmation on that. And I went to a retailer, and the retailer said February. The retailer said in their system, the Rogue and the Venom. This is a brick and mortar retailer, because you're not going to get answers from the people at Medicom. The brick and mortar retailer said in their system they have Venom and Rogue for February. So I would go by that. No date, just February. Hostage toy. Listen, the Toby and Andrew figures are great. The Andrew was my figure of the year from MAFEX last year. It was great. And I think he sold out. I think he's gone. And it's funny because I saw him on shelves 2 weeks ago, and then I went back to get one for somebody, and he's gone. So I'm going to keep looking. There's a couple of other stores that might have them, and this is the deal. And we were talking about this on a live stream, and I sort of got confirmation. Every time there's a reissue, you have to pay the rights. You have to get confirmation sometimes. Oftentimes, you have to get confirmation. You have to go through the entire vetting process of having things approved, even though it's just a reissue. You've already gone through the process. You have to go through the process again. It really depends on the company, the IP, but some of them make you go through the entire process again, this long, drawn-out process, and you have to pay the likeness rights again every time. And the best way to kind of make a comparison would be, you know, every time a song is on the radio, you know, radio, what's that? An artist is paid. Every time a commercial plays that features that song, that artist is paid, right? So you're not just paying, here's a lump sum, we're gonna have use of it in perpetuity for, you know, X amount of time. It's no, these are the numbers, we've agreed upon these numbers, these are the numbers you have to hit. We're gonna check on it, and this is what you're gonna pay us. And if you want to do a reissue, we're going to revisit this agreement. We're going to have to renegotiate it all over again. So people saying, you know, will MAFEX re-release Endgame Cap? It is highly, highly, highly unlikely that they would. Highly unlikely. So, you know, either hit the secondary market, or if you're into KOs, hope that maybe, I mean, if you want that iteration, maybe hope that somebody does a KO of it so you can grab it for your collection. I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying that, you know, those are probably your options. Not really. The movies were terrible. The Zack Snyder one wasn't as bad. It really wasn't. How is it seeing the Game Over Spidey in person again? Really great. So they got rid of the web shield, which is featured always in his displays, and they finally got rid of it, and they're showing off some other poses, which, again, the colors on it are very vibrant. You know, you when something's on display, you only have the lighting and shadows from different angles, right? It's always hot. It's always tricky. But I think that those colors, those vibrant colors, came off in the video that I showed off yesterday. Yesterday for me. I'm really looking forward to that figure. Yeah. So that comes out, I think, in March. I think that's in March. And yeah, so pretty cool. I'll be grabbing it. And again, the Cyclops is sold out. So if you have a Cyclops on pre-order, do not cancel it. You could probably make your money back just by selling it, trading it. So, you know, Tamashii Nations is very happy with the fact that that's sold out, and it's sold out fairly quickly. And I would expect that that Spider-Man is going to be gone. I'm going to be there when the stores open. There is no way I'm going to miss out on that, because I didn't pre-order it, because Amazon makes you pay in advance. I'm probably going to stock some of my usual stores the night before the official release. With Tamashii Nations, they're really strict about stuff going out. You know, like MAFEX figures, they go out the day before. But Tamashii Nations, like that stuff, they have eyes on, and they kind of want stuff to go out and have like a, you know, a universal release date. But, you know, I need it, and I know that a lot of people are going to miss out on it, especially with the issue. And I found out what that issue was with China, and other parts of Asia and Mexico. And I'll talk about that as we get closer to the release date. I don't really want to get into it today, but it's very interesting. So let me back up here. Fan of the channel, thank you very much. I really think Knightmare Batman should have a soft goods coat like Gambit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, I get it with the paint. It's easier to do it. It's cheaper to do it. That you can't do that. You can't replicate that for the same price on cloth, right? Like it's just it's a different dynamic. So I get it, but you, I, and everybody would rather they've done something else. How is it that the new Gambit will come out before Punisher and Iceman, when these two were advertised and set up for pre-order before? Well, you have to understand that everything is a prototype, right? Everything is a prototype when you see it. And that Gambit, like, nothing has to be worked out, right? You can show off a prototype. A lot of times you're paying to show the prototype, right? Prototypes aren't always necessarily approved, which is why when you see, you know, I'm guilty of it. When you see these Medicom events, it says no pictures. I don't do pictures, I do video. So technically I'm not really breaking any rule. But they don't have approval for everything yet. So when they show off stuff, a lot of times they're paying a prototype fee, prototype display fee, that they can, you know, just kind of get people excited for, you know, particular things. But that Gambit, it's just reuse of the other mold. I mean, it's just new coloring. I mean, I think we went over that in a previous stream. Like, everything looks the same. It's just new coloring. It's a new color scheme. So those are easy to do. It's like the renewal figures. The renewal figures add new coloring, and it's a quick turnaround because, you know, it's already been done. You have the mold, you have everything in place, you know, tried and tested, and you're just giving it a new color scheme. So that's why more than likely that happened. But imagine he comes out before Rogue. Oh man, that's nuts. even if there are hoops to jump through, you'd think it would be worth it for MAFEX to reissue select MCU figures. The Spider-Man figures, for example, still have a high demand. Again, it's money, and we'll get into it in another stream, because I got some additional information that I want to dedicate a stream to regarding MAFEX, and some stuff that I kind of learned regarding MAFEX. So I just, I'm talking about the fact that people have to pay, the likeness fees again for the reissues, because we talked about it this week in a live stream. So it's just, I'm just adding to that. But I'm going to dedicate a live stream either the end of this month or maybe early February to kind of talking about some of the stuff that I learned about Medicom and MAFEX, which is pretty interesting. So stay tuned. It's because they have the mold of Gambit already. Yep. No web shields. Hasbro was like, nah, we ain't doing that. I heard that CT Toys is going to do the Gamerverse Spider-Man. And if they do, again, they're not going to re-engineer that thing. So if people have an issue, oh, I'll get the CT Toys. You have to understand, when you bypass the official releases and you go with the KO, you're hurting the entire industry. A KO is a good placeholder if you need a placeholder, but don't bypass a legit release in favor of a KO. And again, I heard they're doing the Spider-Man, the Gamerverse Spider-Man. I mean, it's a smart business move on their part. I mean, who wouldn't if that's the model? But who's that going to hurt? Because Tamashii Nations, they've already made their money. People have already put in the orders. They've prepaid for things. They've made their money. Who hasn't made a Gamerverse Spider-Man yet? Hasbro. And if now CT Toys is putting out a $20 Gamerverse Spider-Man, like, that's going to really hurt Hasbro, because, anybody with an internet connection that follows this kind of news is going to know about it, right? So, no matter how much you hate Hasbro, you don't want to see Hasbro go under. You don't want to see companies that do business legitimately suffer because, other companies are cutting corners and stuff. Sabretooth would be awesome. Definitely. Great. That's awesome. That's awesome. I get bombarded with questions and requests and stuff. And I have another Gamerverse Cyclops here. I don't know if I'm holding it for somebody. I'm like going through my chats and I'm trying to look and find. I normally write stuff down, like, this person wants this, and I don't see anything. I'm wondering if I just picked up an extra. I can't remember. I don't know, but I've got an extra. So I'll sit on it for a year. if nobody can show proof that I got it for him, if you're watching and I'm holding one for you, let me know, because I can't find anything. I don't see it. So just, again, let me know. And but otherwise, I've got one sitting here that I'm looking. I'm like, who did I get this for? I don't remember. So, but like Toji, right? The Figure Arts Toji sold out in like 30 minutes here yesterday. 30 minutes gone. Unbelievable. Just gone. So I ordered one from Amazon USA, because if you want it, like, oftentimes when it sells out in Japan for Figure Arts, there's a delay getting it to America, whether it's Tamashii USA or Big Bad, who gets their stuff from them, or Amazon. You can still kind of, you can still get them, but you got to kind of know what's going on, right? So I'm telling you now, Toji is gone. It's sold out. It's sold out in 30 minutes here yesterday. There's a possibility that stores have held back some stock because they kind of do that. They kind of, you know, they put stuff out in waves a little bit, but like it's nowhere to be found, which is, if you want the figure, it's pretty bad, right? Like, you know, you don't want to pay the aftermarket prices, so be aware and try to get one. What's going on, Ghost? I didn't know you were live, man. I missed out. Yeah, you know, it was kind of a last minute thing. I just don't have time to sit down, film a video, edit it, put it together. I really don't. Like, I have this time, but I don't really have any other time today. And if I'm going to do a review, I got to do it the weekend it comes out, or I'm not even going to bother. So I did. CT Toys really should just focus on hard to get figures. Well, that's how they were. That's how they started. And like, you know, they did like the Spider-Man 2099, the figure watch, which was really expensive. It was sold out. They did the Agent Venom. They did like an early, I think they did an early Andrew Spider-Man or Toby or something. And then they just pivoted into MAFEX when they realized, like, you know, there was the demand, and they've been sitting there ever since, really. So yeah. Ghost with the super chat. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You're on mandatory stay here at the hospital due to the weather. Oh man, I hope everything's all right. Hope things aren't too bad, but I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Ghost has been sending me around Tokyo in search of figures for him. Left and right. He knows. He's laughing about it, I'm sure. But yeah, like, you know, that's one of the reasons I know like what's on shelves and what isn't, because people ask me, can you grab this for me? Can you grab that for me? Ghost is getting himself a full set of the MAFEX X-Men. Now I was telling him, like, you know, I'm jealous, because imagine getting all of the MAFEX X-Men in one go, like all in one go. That excitement of opening them all up and posing them and everything. And he just grabbed a Sentinel, X-Men 97 Sentinel. So the dude, he's living well. He's good. But thank you, man. I appreciate that. I waited for the Dragon Ball Broly since SHF didn't make it. Demonical fit. I got the demoniacal. Am I saying that? What? Got the fit. I need an import company to do Superior Spider-Man. I love my 85th Marvel Legends one. I'm close to pulling the trigger on the Mess Toys. The Mess Toys is really good. It's really good. And again, if you look at it as a custom, right? Because it's using the buck, it's using the body, but it's adding. If you look at it like that, you know, I can say, all right, well, that's cool, that's all right. You know, like we all get custom stuff, right? Nobody's making stuff from scratch, right? Or very few people are. But that Superior Spider-Man, where's mine? I don't even know where he is. He's a great figure. Mine came with a little chip on his nose on the head sculpt, but I'm just going with the mask one anyway. Falcon, yeah. Got a good story about carrying around trash in Japan? Yeah, man. Like, there's no trash, Kent. You got to go to a convenience store, and it's harder. It's harder to do in Tokyo because a lot of the convenience stores don't even have trash bins outside anymore. They're like inside. And then even some of them don't even have trash bins inside because so many people are coming, right? Like there's nowhere to put your garbage. So people will carry stuff around. Most people don't eat and walk anyway. A lot of people will kind of eat at the convenience store and just throw it away there if they're going to get something. Excuse me. But yeah, we all walk around. you know, some people throw their garbage on the ground. I've had to grab stuff and confront people. You know, certain cultures, that's okay. And, you know, this ain't one of them. So when in Rome, you do as the Romans. So this ain't where you're from. You're here now. You don't throw your garbage on the ground, man. Have some respect. Have some pride. Like, come on. But people do that. Do I think that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Jotaro figures will go quick? Yeah. I think so from what I'm hearing. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, be aware, like if you can get those pre-orders in through a retailer, get them in, and you know, just search them out, because a lot of these things are just, they're going like that. It's wild. Stu, member for 7 months. Might as well use my member chat milestone and say thank you, Kaiju, for your fun videos and great info. Chewbacca, we love you. Follow Chewbacca on Stu for Lunch on Instagram. He does a lot of fun stuff, a lot of funny videos, and he puts his art up. He's got a good eye. He's very good. I sold my 1.0 MAFEX and Mezco in anticipation for this version. I was actually, like I said, I was surprised that the MUF and the MAFEX are so similar in height. I was telling Ghost, I was telling him, nah, like the MAFEX isn't, the MUF isn't going to fit in with the MAFEX. This is before I opened it. I was like, there's no way that's going to happen. Like, you know, they're pretty identical. So if you want to skip out on this and just use your MUF, if you got the MUF, do that. It's a better figure. It's a better figure. I didn't even give this one a score. I'd probably give this one like an 8, 8.5, maybe. And that's really just because of the articulation issues. Like the paint's great. The head sculpts are really good. The coat is part of the articulation. That's why I'm saying it. Like it hinders articulation. I'd probably give this an 8, 8.5. I don't have any issues with mine. The gap that you're starting to see and the width, the extra width, it's not really on this one, but you're starting to see some extra width on the upper torsos of the MAFEX. We're going to talk about that in another stream, like I said, when I talk about more MAFEX stuff. But if you have access to the MUF, if you can get the MUF, I would say just get the MUF and call it a day and bypass the MAFEX. Because honestly, like the MUF, you can probably get it for the same price as the MAFEX if you can find the bare bones one. You know, because the MUF, there's like 3 different versions. There's the regular, there's the, what is it, the deluxe? No, there's the regular, the premium, and then the deluxe is like, you know, the big one. But yeah, that MUF is great. Yeah, I was talking about this. I was talking about this with people last night. That Revoltech cable is great. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to the Spider-Man. So, that Spider-Man is in black. It's in purple, and I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything, but it's not gonna stop there. So I'm only gonna say that it's not gonna stop there, which is great. Great news for people. So we got black, we got purple, we got. So I'm getting both. I'm getting the black and the purple, and I'm gonna get the other one. I think, you know, it's a great looking figure. The accessories are next level. Yeah. I heard some really interesting things about Kyoto too, in regards to like China, which is blew me away. I was like, what? For real? What? So Interesting stuff. Random question. Getting imports. I guess you mean this stuff. Got MAFEX Andrew Spidey for retail recently. Good. Paint apps are okay, but not great. The Andrew? Okay. For high deco imports, would you recommend getting 2 just in case? Well, it depends on the character, right? Like how important is this character to you? If you're a Spider-Man guy, be aware. Let's just say this: be aware that movie figures from this part of the world rarely get re-released, unless it's like, unless it's a figure like this where there's no license rights issues at all, right? Like there's a helmet, right? You're not paying anybody for that. But if you're big into Spider-Man, like I kind of regret not getting another Andrew. I actually did get another Andrew, and I got another Toby. And I wanted to sit on them, but people were like, "Oh, can you help me out? Can you hook me up? Can you do this?" And I couldn't find them. Not so much the Andrew. I just kind of got lazy and said, "Well, you can have mine." But with the Toby, it was like I really wanted to have a second one, and I couldn't find one for somebody, and I just said, "Well, you can have my second one." But if characters are really important to you, like the MAFEX Captain America, he's my favorite figure from the previous year. Andrew was last year. Captain America was the year before. Not Daredevil. It was Captain America. I have an extra Captain America that I'm holding on to just because I love the character. I love the figure. And I still want to get an extra Andrew just because he was my MAFEX figure of the year. And I can get him retail. So if a figure means something to you, if you want to have him as a backup in case something happens, absolutely do that. And it's harder when it's an import, right? Because you only have certain access to it. That's the tricky part. Imports are like American things. The Japanese things, depending on what it is, I can access easily, or maybe not, like the Toji, right? 30 minutes, gone. It's crazy. So, if your thing is paint apps and you're kind of worried, maybe you're going to have a figure that has wanky paint apps. I think the figures are expensive. I mean, if you can foot that kind of bill, sure. But I think most people can't. And then you're just kind of relegated to getting figures that you really, really want to have a backup of, just in case. Well, we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this in the next stream. We're going to get into this. Us. I don't have either Andrew or Toby. Am I missing out? I think with the Andrew you are, but you have other options, at least with Andrew. So who's making it? 6-inch Studio, not 6-inch plus. 6-inch Studio is making the fantastic Worm Man 1 and 2. So they're making versions of Andrew with, I think it's like a cloth body, like a sort of spandexy body, that some other third-party companies have been doing. So if you missed out on Andrew, there's another option on the way. But with the Toby, I don't think there's any other option currently coming out of Asia for that character. But he is featured, from what I understand, he is featured in an upcoming movie. I'm not telling you what, so there's no real spoiler. But if he's featured in an upcoming movie, the odds are they'll make another one. Or even, reissue that one, save the money on the tooling, and just call it a day, right? Like, so I wouldn't be too nervous. Like, the fear of missing out is real, but for the most part, any banger is going to sell well, and a company will look at it and say, well, that sold well, we'll do one, or hey, let's do another one. You know, it's very rare that you're a one and done. Blitzway is like a one and done. If you miss out on a Blitzway, you're kind of screwed. If you miss out on like an Inot so far, you're kind of screwed. But like Inot 112, they've kind of done a second run of that Batman. And LPZZ, we don't really know what they're going to do. Like their track record, they're too young. So, you know, just proceed accordingly. Thoughts on that Marvel Legends Abomination? He looks really nice. I agree. It looks really nice. Really nice. Yeah. I'm hoping that Toy Sapiens will put them on sale eventually. And that I could grab them. Because they tend to put, like, the bigger figures usually, not always, but usually they sit. And you can get them for, like, a discount. So, I told you guys I got the 2-packs of all the Gamerverse. I think all of them. Maybe not all of them. Maybe I didn't get the Captain America one. But I got the other ones, the Gamerverse 2-packs from Toy Sapiens for 60% off. Already Christmas shopping. Already. So yeah, I mean, you know, I think he looks great. I don't want to pay Japanese retail on that Abomination because it's like 30, 35, 40% above your retail. So maybe I'll get him from Big Bad and I'll just put him in a pile of loot and I'll just sit on it. But yeah. What up, Legs? You're not running late. So wait, another company I think is doing an Andrew too. Not just 6-inch studio. There's another one coming out, and it's not Manipul. That's doing him in his Amazing Spider-Man 2? Amazing Spider-Man 2, his winter gear. I think there's another one coming out. For some reason, Andrews, you know, he's on fire right now. Everybody wants to do a figure. I am just waiting for SHF to finish the Spider-Verse with Penny Pocket and Robot. Yeah, we were talking about SHF too, like that Spider-Verse line. Like, the figures look great, but they're all over the place. They're all over the place. You know, why is Peter B. Parker so much taller than Scarlet Spider? It's the same person. Right? It's the same person. He's Peter Parker. So, you know, this gets back to like companies giving certain designers. We talked about this with Inot and LPZZ, and I guess it kind of relates also to Bondi. Like, you know, sometimes designers have too much pull, and there's not like a uniform standard, right? Like the infamous make Luke Skywalker this big, right? So you make Luke Skywalker this big, and common sense tells you scale everything based on that. But I don't know. Maybe it's people who aren't toy collectors who are in these companies, and they don't really give a shit. Like, who cares, right? Like, I mean, honestly speaking, like, there's a lot of people in the toy making industry. Look at the CEO of Hasbro, who don't give a shit about toys. They really don't. They don't give a fuck about toys. Hasbro wants to transition into gaming. Yeah, right. So when you have people who are making decisions, people who are in charge of, you know, certain lines, who don't, not only do you not like the line you're in charge of, not only do you not know much about the line you're in charge of, but you don't give a shit about the toys. How do these companies function? Like, you know, you got to cull out these people. Cull them. Like, get out of here. We need people who are passionate about this sort of thing, right? So I don't know. It's maddening. Certain things, go different scale. LPZZ told me that the designer, I'm not going to say names, but the designer who did the Inot Batman jumped ship, the Bale, jumped ship and went over to LPZZ. So he's at LPZZ now. And the designer of like the Arkham Knight Batman for LPZZ in turn jumped over to Inot. And now you're starting to see the Inot stuff scaling with that, right? So like they bring their aesthetic, they bring what they like. Like I was told like, the Chinese companies, they look at figures kind of differently. And the guy who designed the Bale Batman is a big Figuarts, not fan, but he appreciates Figuarts, the scaling, right? So the Batman reflected that. And the body is like an Inot's figure. I mean, let's be honest. It's like an Inot's figure. It's a little bit better, but it's an Inot figure. And so, they bring that which they like with them. And if you don't have the people at the top of the company being like, no, like this is the scale. This is what you got to do. If you don't have them doing that, everything's going to be all over the map, all over the place. It's wild. Let me get back in. The Toby likeness seems easier for toy companies too. I feel like we're far more likely to get more Toby figures in the future compared to Andrew. All right, so let me say this. From what I understand, talking to people, Marvel's early days into the movie business, they were not as privy to certain ways to kind of guarantee sales for their partners in the toy industry. So like Robert Downey Jr., for example. Robert Downey Jr., his likeness, if a toy company is making a figure of Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man, it's got to be approved by Marvel. It's got to be approved again by Disney. And then it's got to be approved by Robert Downey Jr. He's got total power over anything, because when he came on board, like it wasn't a thing. And then he became indispensable to the stories, and they needed him, and they couldn't dictate, you got to sign over your rights, your likeness rights. Other people who came later, they have a degree of power, not like Robert Downey Jr. They have a degree of power, but it's finite. And then the new people, like Tom Holland, as an example, doesn't have any authority. Like he just signs away his rights, and all right, here's something. He just all right, okay, like he doesn't have any pull. So I think Toby was in that, for Marvel, was in that first kind of stage. But I think with Sony, when they did Andrew, maybe things changed. Maybe they had new leadership and things sort of changed. And so that's why you have different opportunities to put Toby out versus Andrew, which is why most of the figures that are Andrew that are coming out are third-party companies. I mean, these are possibilities. I'm not saying this is the reason. These are possibilities. So it would be interesting to know. If anybody knows him, Andrew Garfield, ask him. Went to a local toy con today. Saw a lot of MAFEX, mostly that Gambit and Wolverine. Yeah. Remember when you couldn't get those at all? Now they're everywhere. They're everywhere. But I will say that Gambit, the original Gambit, that's going to become very sought after, I think, moving forward, now that we know they are most likely going to stop with that one, and they'll stick to the new higher price point one, so they can get that, extra money with the new Gambit. I think, everybody knows that that's why they're doing it. So I would say that older Gambit will probably become more in demand. Do you think LPZZ will go as deep with their Hush line? I think so. It all depends on sales. Sales is everything. If they're getting sales, they'll do it. I think so. That's right. DB Toys. That's right. With the winter gear. Yep. And 6-inch Studio, Viper Studio. Yeah, are doing the fantastic Worm Man. Thank you, Falcons. How can I get my hands on X-Men 97 Beast? Maybe somebody in the chat can help you out. Yeah. Hasbro's making billions from their Monopoly smartphone game. Do they have a smartphone game for Monopoly? I don't know. Like over here, I don't know. I don't know. So from a business standpoint, I can see why they're chasing more of that, but come on, stay in your lane, my guys. Yeah, I didn't know that they had an online Monopoly game. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I mean, you can create a division like Lucasfilm, right? Lucasfilm created Pixar. I mean, it wasn't, I don't think it was called Pixar at the time, but they had that. They had Industrial Light and Magic, and they had their lanes, and then they had LucasArts Gaming. You don't have to transition the entire company. You can expand the company. You can create new departments that will fund themselves through their work. And if they can't fund themselves, then obviously it wasn't meant to be. But you don't have to change the company. Like Nintendo used to be a card trading company. They used to make cards, cards. And now they're a video game. But that transition happened many, many moons ago. And that was because there was this new thing that was coming about. But, I don't know. Yeah, trading players, man. That's what it is. I've heard the opposite from someone that claimed to work in licensing. The Robert Downey Jr. license is apparently just part of the general Marvel license, but Hugh Jackman. I've spoken to people directly with Tamashii Nations, and this is what I've been told. So, yeah. So maybe when it comes to certain things, but at least with Bandai, Robert Downey Jr. And I think this is true across the board from what I was told, because they were very specific. They were like, this actor, this actor, this actor, this actor, this is what we deal with. This is what we have to do. These are the licensing percentage we have to pay, all of that. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. was specifically mentioned and so on. So I don't know. I'm just going by what I was told what it relates to over here. So I can't imagine that being different. So who knows? All right. So I appreciate everybody joining for this. Final thoughts. Like I said, I'd give it an 8, 8.5. But if you can get the Muff toys, they are about the same size. And I would say get the Muff toys, because the pricing is about the same for the bare bones Muff toys. And that's really, I think it's a better option. So he looks good. There's no noticeable QC issues on mine. The articulation is really the thing that's bringing the score down. But yeah, so if you're on the fence, if you've already got the Muff toys, I would cancel it, and I just go with the Muff. Muff is better. Yeah, it's a better figure. The Muff is like a 9.5. This one's an 8, 8.5 maybe. So, but again, everyone, I appreciate you all being here. So it was in the context of Marvel Legends, huh? Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It was a rando on Reddit. Yeah. Like I said, I spoke directly to people. I mean, like they've dealt with it, directly. So, yeah. But all right, guys, take care. Be good. Again, the next stream will be Wednesday night. Oh, Wednesday night. And we will do the giveaway for that that Storm Arena Ken. We'll talk about these Mars Toys figures that are just being announced. We'll talk about that Goku. We'll talk about Hot Toys. We'll talk about everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, talking to people. I appreciate everybody being here. So be good, be safe, go Pats, Super Bowl bound. See you all next time. Take care.